Welcome one and all to the Cinegeeks Podcast where movies, TV, and all things geek collide. It's November 17, 2023. I'm Roy, still joined by my lovely co-host Angela.
Hello, hello, hello!
Hey Angela. So for today's episode, we will be talking about the latest installment in the Hunger Games saga. Actually, the first one since 2015. The Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So this is the first Hunger Games movie since the two-part ending of the original supposed to be trilogy.
Na naging fourlogy.
Kasi yung panahon na yun, usong-uso yung
Sinisplit yung last
part. Parang ganon, part 1, part 2.
Harry Potter.
Diba? Hindi lang movies, kahit sa ano din. Kahit yung sa TV shows.
Breaking Bad, diba?
Breaking Bad, final season, part 1, part 2.
Tama.
Mad Men, final season, part 1, part 2. Pero din, meron din namang dahilan kung bakit. Kasi every movie that came out earned more money than the previous one.
True.
So talagang
they capitalized and
they
milked that.
For as much as they could.
Oo,
yan.
diba?
And one more thing, natutuwa lang ako yung note na itong last Hunger Games na to, parang kaka 1 year lang natin nun. Anniversary pa lang. So imagine mo, all these years later.
When did it begin? Yung first movie?
First Hunger Games came out. Let me just double check. Alam ko mga 2012 yun pero I'm not entirely sure. Let me double check.
Just
2012, tama.
Fresh from college.
Oo, yun. Kaka-graduate pa lang yan. Tama. 2012. Tapos yung sumunod, Catching Fire, 2013.
Catching Fire is yung This Girl is on Fire na, diba?
I think yun na yun. Tama. Tapos yung after that, one movie came out every year from 2012 to 2015.
How come they were able to do that before? Ngayon, kailangan 2 to 3 years na yung pagitan, diba?
Wala na yung parang zeal to capitalize on pop culture like there was nung 10 years ago.
Even yung Harry Potter was able to shell out a movie every year.
Or at least every other
December,
year.
Yun yung event. Tsaka yung The Middle-earth saga, Lord of the Rings. Was that yearly?
Yung Lord of the Rings? Parang alam ko.
Yung The Hobbit din.
Yung The Hobbit din. Yun, 2012, 2013, tas 2014. Yan, tama. Pero yun na nga eventually naging parang lesson siya na masyado sila nagtatapon ng pera. Na medyo hit or miss naman. Ito yung side ng hits, yung mga Hunger Games movies. Pero yung mga Hobbit movies, medyo diminishing returns na siya.
At saka nagda-die down kasi yung interest
True.
Kapag masyadong matagal yung wait.
Yun din.
Okay. But before we continue, we'd like to remind everyone who hasn't done so to follow our pod wherever you listen to podcasts like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.
Also, please set your players to automatically download our new episodes so you don't miss any of our fun Cinegeek conversations.
Also, please don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Threads, X aka Twitter, and Instagram so you can join in on the Cinegeeks conversation.
And don't forget to also leave us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and a thumbs up on YouTube if you enjoyed this episode because that helps us out a lot. So thank you very much in advance. All right, so with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about The Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. "64 years before he becomes the tyrannical president of Panem, Coriolanus Snow sees a chance for a change in fortunes when he mentors Lucy Greybeard, the female tribute from District 12. The film is directed by Francis Lawrence. So, siya yung in-house director nila simula Catching Fire.
The second movie,
yes. And the screenplay is written by Michael Leslie and Michael Arndt, based on the novel of the same name by Suzanne Collins. And the movie stars Tom Blythe, Rachel Zegler, Hunter Schafer, Peter Dinklage, Jason Schwartzman, and Viola Davis. Okay. So, Ange, what did you think of The Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes?
Well, to start off, I really was planning to watch all the Hunger Games movies before we went in. Supposedly, kaso medyo busy tayo, so hindi ko na siya napanood. But I still have a faint memory of kung ano yung story, kung paano tumakbo. Basta ang alam ko, si Katniss yung bida, tapos there's this Hunger Games na para siyang gladiator style battle na parang tinitribute yung mga kids from different districts, di ba? So, yun naman basically yung Hunger Games, what Hunger Games is. So, this is the origin, so to speak. Pero hindi siya yung first. I think it was the 10th, di ba?
No, hindi nga. Ano siya, mas more siyang origin actually ni Coriolanus Snow.
Played by Donald Sutherland.
Doon sa original quadrilogy. And here, portrayed by Tom Blythe.
So, this is a good reintroduction to the Gen Z. I think they're too young to remember first quadrilogy. Kasi panahon natin yun tayo yung mga kids nun. So, tayo yung target market.
Tayo yung Gen Z ng panahon na yun.
For millennials made yung kay Katniss Everdeen.
At saka kay Pita Malark.
Yeah. This is a good reintroduction. I said that because yung first act of the movie, I really felt the YA element. Especially yung school setting, tapos yung dynamic ng mga cliques in the school, tapos yung mga weird professor. It kind of gave me that Hogwarts vibe, first day high, ganon.
Tama.
So, sabi ko, parang medyo sinanitize yata nila kasi I remember Hunger Games to be so brutal and so dark. Pero, yun nga, towards the end, Act 2 and Act 3, medyo...
What's up?
Pero, ano? Ano sabi? Medyo napahiya ako ng slight.
Sanitized pala.
Anyway. That's what I was worried about kasi the figure of Coriolanus Snow is like the Tom Riddle in Harry Potter, di ba?
Tama.
Siya yung big bad Siya yung source nung talagang evil in the world.
Oh my God, masabi ko lang sandali lang So, kapag gumana tong scene na to, actually tinry na nga nilang gawin, di ba? Yung Fantastic Beasts.
The Crimes of Grindelwald. Yeah, he's the Tom Riddle in this world. So to speak. So, I am worried na baka i-romanticize nila yung story ni Coriolanus Snow to feel na parang, he's not evil, he's just flawed. He's just broken. Parang ganon. Kaya niya nagawa yung mga atrocities na ginawa niya dun sa original quadrilogy. Pero I'm happy na they didn't go that way. They didn't try to rationalize all the things that he did. And kahit yung mismong core ng kanyang pagkatao and principles, talagang defined dito na, okay, there's nothing to redeem talaga dito sa person na to. Yung nasa core niya na talaga, nasa kaloob-looban niya na talaga yung malice, tsaka yung disloyalty niya. And yun nga another thing, before I throw it back to you, tinanong ko sa'yo, di ba Coriolanus is a Shakespearean character?
Yes.
Yon. So, I asked you, ano nga ba yung story ni Coriolanus? So, it's all about betrayal, loyalty, and yun nga, na parang yung true human nature.
Yes.
So, yon, medyo nagmi-mirror siya in a way, which is why perfect yung pagkaka-name sa kanya as Coriolanus Snow. Basically, this is his story talaga.
Yes.
So, yun yung initial ko na take on it. How about you, Roy?
Ako naman, actually, meron kang interesting na sinabi doon and I'll get to that siguro at the end of my thoughts. Pero initially, it was a pleasant parang feeling to be back doon sa mundo na yun. Especially since Hunger Games, yun yung isa sa mga big film franchises na meron nung lumalaki tayo. So, para siyang, it's nice to parang see this world again. Although, syempre, hindi naman yung subject matter niya na yung kung ano. Pero yung nostalgia ba, yun, na hindi naman niya masyadong in on the nose. And to that point na nostalgia, hindi siya masyado din Easter eggy Hindi siguro kung napanood natin yung first 4 movies, we might have gotten some of the references, I guess. Pero there are a few very obvious, but hindi siya nakaka-detract doon sa experience nung film.
Yes.
Yung sinabi mo kanina na yung initial, yung parang first act niya na yung school setting, tapos silang mga teenagers, yung very, very reminiscent nga siya nung yung mga scene nung panahon na yun na puro YA craze. Yung Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner.
Oh my God. Sabay-sabay yan.
Twilight, yung gano'n yun. Sabay din yun. Oo. Pero yun na yung dahil nga masyado nang matagal since naging uso yung genre na yon ng movies. Yes, nung panahon na yon, I was one of the people who openly reviled it. Hindi itong Hunger Games Umay. Hindi itong Hunger Games Ito sa mga yung only YA na gusto ko. Pero yung mga Divergent, yung mga Maze Runner, parang, oh my God, paulit-ulit. Pero para siyang, alam mo yung, totoo yung yung absence makes the heart grow fonder.
True.
Na parang, ang tagal na natin hindi nakapanood ng YA na sine na ganito.
Parang kids, there was a point in our lives na puro ganyan yung lumalabas na sine, umay na kami.
Let me tell you about the story of Katniss Everdeen. Yung mga ganon. Pero, yun nga, ang nakakatuwa na hindi lang siya din nag-stick doon sa parang formula na ginawa nitong 4 na to. Hindi lang siya stay doon sa what felt familiar. Actually, kung tutuusin nga it's funny because hindi to sequel just to clarify that. This is not a sequel, this is a prequel. This is 64 years before the first movie or the first book.
That's right.
Now, it's funny because even though this is a prequel, it feels like everything leveled up in terms of yung writing, yung acting, yung pati yung sense of lingering doom. Dati kasi dun sa YA, para kasi siyang ang parang pinaka-basic trope ng YA nung panahon natin. Wow, nung panahon natin. Oh my God. Years ago.
Unang panahon.
Nung panahon. Yung basic trope ng YA back then was this lingering feeling of doom is eventually going to be overcome by this plucky hero or heroine na ini-introduce sa atin. So ito si Katniss, kung sino naman yung bida ng Divergent, kung sino naman yung bida ng Maze Runner, naisip ko pa isa si Percy Jackson. Yon, yung gano'n na parang, may danger.
Naalala mo pa ba si Eragon?
My God. Ay, pero wag ka, si Eragon. Nag-comeback siya ng astig. Si Jack Crusher sa Picard, season 3. Anyway. Eto dito sa Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, walang ganong figure. Kahit dun sa pagkaka-introduce kay Snow, kay Coriolanus, or si Corio, yung nickname niya dito, hindi mo nararamdaman na parang ma-overcome niya yung system Partly because, syempre, kung sinusunod mo tong kwento na to, alam mo na kung saan siya papunta, of course. But also because nothing about his character gives off the vibe na you're rooting for him. Hindi
True.
And I don't mean it in a bad way, No. This feels like parang even though he's doing his best to do right by everybody, you know that there is a mean streak deep inside him somewhere. Kailangan lang yung tamang spark And dun papasok yung character ni Lucy Graybeard or si Lucy Gray, si Rachel Zegler, which for me, I have to give props dun sa kanilang dalawa, si Tom Blythe and of course, Rachel Zegler. Sobrang galing nila.
The chemistry.
Ibang klaseng chemistry nila. Si Tom Blythe I guess, is one of his first big movies. And he knocks it out of the park, yung kanyang performance. Lalo na't nakaasa sa kanya yung buong sine. If he weren't game enough to handle the responsibility of leading this film as this anti-hero figure, the entire movie would fall apart.
Kasi ramdam mo yung conflict of character niya.
Yes, true.
There is always a struggle between knowing the good thing and the bad thing and choosing kung ano yung gagawin niya.
That's true.
And what would benefit him most.
True.
Talagang mas napaprioritize niya yung selfish acts niya.
And yun na nga yung nakaka-amaze din sa pagkakasulat sa kanya. So, props to Michael Leslie and Michael Arndt. By the way, Michael Arndt, isa sa mga greatest writers natin of our current generation. Siya yung gumawa ng Toy Story 3.
Wow.
and Oblivion. Actually, nagsusulat siya ng Hunger Games since the second part. So, talagang alam mong slotted back in lang yung may familiar feeling. Pero anyway, going back to your point, yung kanyang conflict yung inner conflict niya was so masterfully written in a way na you don't root against him. You want him to succeed. You still see the goodness in him even though you know that this person or this character,
however faint that is.
Oo. Kahit alam mo na parang eventually siya yung magiging Emperor Palpatine itong scene na to, itong series na to.
Kumbaga, parang you haven't crossed that line yet. So, there's still hope for you.
If I may use still the Star Wars thing, parang siyang Anakin Skywalker nga.
Exactly.
Yun.
Oo, siya talaga yung evil figure Hitler ng mundo na yon. Yung siya yung dictator, siya yung there's no way you can redeem this person unless you go back in time and you try to see how he became that.
Pero
parang
ganon. Hindi din siya tinry i-redeem Kasi ito din yung kagandahan nito. Tinapatan siya ng isang figure na, if I'm being honest, actually subverts all expectations of her character. Yung si Lucy Gray by Rachel Zegler. Yung akala mong siya yung parang magiging Katniss Everdeen figure dito sa kwento na to. Pero alam mong meron din siyang ulterior motives of her own No matter how noble it is. She's not above using her talent, her charm and her talent to get ahead. Especially since nung na-realize na niya na, okay, meron na kaming moro-moro nito ni Koryo. Na siya din yung may idea. So parang
gamitan na lang.
Oo, yun. Gamitan na lang silang dalawa. Pero hindi din naman siya yung innocent doon sa gamitan na yun. She becomes fully complicit.
Yun nga yung kagandahan napaka multifaceted nung mga characters. Napaka multi-layered nila.
True.
They're not one-dimensional. And lahat sila they felt real and their stakes felt real.
True, that's true. Yung performance dito ni Rachel Zegler, I mean, I've only seen her in 2 movies so far, which is the other one is yung West Side Story. If I may, sobrang nag-improve by leaps and bounds yung acting niya talaga. Sobra. Kasi doon sa West Side Story, para siyang yung usual na love interest, sort of plucky heroine, parang ganon.
The soft and fragile damsel in distress.
Oo, na medyo actually binigyan siya ng konting, okay. Yung character actually ni Rachel Zegler sa West Side Story was given a bit of an anachronistic streak.
True.
Na yung medyo parang for a 1950s, 60s female character, medyo parang siyang
she's
modern.
ahead of her time.
Sobrang modern yung pakiramdam niya. So, maganda yung performance niya doon. Pero yun nga, it felt a bit out of place for West Side Story. Dito,
was perfect.
Talagang
perfect fit.
Yung alam mong meron siyang patuloy times na charm, pero meron siyang devious, meron siyang cunning.
Meron siyang duplicity.
Yon. And I absolutely love na handle niya both.
Alam mo nga,
yun.
If I may, mas prefer ko siya na mag-play ng roles na ganito. Yung may 2 sides. Kasi parang hindi bagay sa kanya yung sobrang innocent lamb na masyadong soft-spoken and fragile and so demure. Parang nakita ko dito yung kanyang edginess and angst na kaya niyang i-add sa every character na ipoportray niya. Na sayang kasi hindi ginamit sa Shazam. Kasi she was revealed to be
nakalimutan ko pala.
One of the villains, di ba?
Andun pala siya.
Akala ko that's what you meant when you said
yung
na...
Dalawa.
Oo.
See how utterly forgettable Shazam was.
True.
We forgot everybody, including the movie itself. Oh my God.
Pero yun nga coming from Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, she's gonna go on to portray Snow White.
Which is actually antithetical to everything we just said.
Yun nga kaya nga din kahit nga siya mismo, nakikita mo yung parang personal views niya about the character of Snow White. Medyo contradicting to what Disney is trying to tell. So medyo kaya nagiging parang medyo may conflict yan May news yan about her.
Di ba parang tinrash talk niya yung sine niya.
Hindi
naman overtly.
May konting push siya sa
passive-aggressive dig
yes.
sa sine niya. Anyway, yung performances actually carried this movie talagang into greater heights. Hindi lang yung bidang dalawa, of course, chemistry nila was perfect. I'm sorry, masabi ko lang, yung best friend, yung character ni Sejanus Plinth, yung best friend ni Coriolanus, portrayed by Josh Andres Rivera. I just saw here na siya pala...
ko ba siya?
Bakit?
Vera.
Anyway, nakita ko na part pala siya ng West Side Story.
Really?
Siya yung si Chino.
Puerto Rican?
I think siya yung parang isang friend ni bidang guy. Tapos siya yung parang namatay or something. Parang
lagi na lang siyang sacrificial lamb.
Spoilers. Sige. I mean, sure.
Spoiler.
Spoiler siya. Pero aside from him, actually, if I'm gonna say na mayroong isang weak link doon sa characters. Eto, sige. Allow me to explain. Weak link yung character ni si Janus Plinth in the story because siya lang yung parang sobrang straightforward yung arc. Siya yung parang good guy. Wala siya yung in a world of everyone having their own agendas. Sige, sabihin natin meron siyang agenda. Pero ang SJW friend. Yung tawag ko sa kanya doon na para siyang sobrang niyang sheltered siya sa Capitol.
Sobrang niyang straight arrow.
Sheltered siya sa Capitol. Pero pagdating niya dun sa mga gusto niyang tulungan, bigla siyang nag-chicken out. Yung gano'n na parang...
Siguro wala lang siya masyadong nuance.
Pwede.
Kaya masyado siyang one-dimensional na good character. Pero I think he's there because he serves as the conscience, as the moral compass of Coriolanus. And siguro siya na yung symbolic representation nun.
It's true. Pwede.
And everything good na possibly nasa pagkatao ni Coriolanus Snow.
And nakay si Janus Plinth.
And the fact na, yun nga, how their story turned out in the end just cements who Coriolanus Snow became.
It's true.
Speaking of performances,
yan, sige, go.
Sobrang scene stealer ni Viola Davis.
Yes.
Talagang sobrang niyang delicious talaga.
As Dr. Volumina Gol, the head game maker of the Hunger Games during this time period. Yan.
Alam mo kung kanino ko siya pwedeng i-compare?
Kanino?
Para siyang pinaghalong Umbridge and Bellatrix Lestrange.
Yan, parang ganun.
Para siyang combination ni Bellatrix Lestrange tsaka ni Dolores Umbridge.
Actually, sige, we're taking that Harry Potter theme further. Etong si Peter Dinklage as Casca Highbottom. Yeah. Actually, one of the highlights of the film as well. Siya si Snape. Para siyang ganun. Yan, si Peter Dinklage din, turned in a performance na actually medyo natutuwa ako kasi hindi siya yung like mga recent na mga performances niya na parang, especially yung mga nasa franchises na medyo parang going through the motions na lang siya. Dito medyo meron siyang na-inject na parang konting originality, nuance. Na-appreciate ko na yung siya din yung eventually may revelation na okay, that actually flips everything on its head kung gusto niyong panoorin ulit yung sine. Yan.
Oo. Alam mo, na-miss ko siya as Tyrion Lannister kasi parang very similar yung character nila. At yung best seasons of Tyrion. Tapos, of course, it did not forget the connection to the original saga, Jason Schwartzman.
Hirap sabihin na. Jason Schwartzman. Yes, as Lucky.
Slowly.
Ano yung pangalan niya dito? Si Lucky, ano yung kanya full name? Lucretius. Lucky Flickerman.
Yeah. And he is the
assumed ancestor to Caesar Flickerman.
Portrayed by Stanley Tucci.
Ang ganda kasi, parang kung titignan mo, magkamukha silang dalawa.
Parang
mas batang version ni Stanley Tucci talaga si Jason Schwartzman.
Perfect casting. Kasi even before you know his name, alam mo na kaagad pagkakita mo sa mukha niya na, oh my God. Oo. Siya yung lolo siya.
Sakto.
As millennials. Dun tayo medyo na, uy.
True.
Doon ko na-appreciate yung nostalgia.
Well, hindi na naman to, I wouldn't say that this is a perfect film. Okay? I absolutely enjoyed watching this. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Okay, pero there are, of course, going to be things that the movie could have improved on.
True.
Namely, I felt na the turn or yung parang takbo ng kwento towards Coriolanus's heel turn. Okay, or sige, for you non-wrestling fans or non-wrestling cinegeeks, if sinasabing heel turn, that's basically becoming a bad guy. Or pag sinabing face turn, that's becoming a good guy. Okay, so going back, yung heel turn ni Coriolanus Snow, yung middle, second act, and the entire third act, imbis na naging parang marathon, parang naging sprint na lang siya. Na,
I actually felt that too.
I-check na natin lahat ng mga ng mga pwedeng maging dahilan kung bakit bigla siya magiging bad guy. Hindi siya nabigyan ng enough time to marinate into all these reasons why he may decide to turn against his good-natured self. Yan.
And also, just to add to what you just said, I feel like parang napaka-imbalanced nung mga act. Kasi meron siyang title card eh.
Ayun pala, meron pala siyang tama.
May title card siya na nakalagay. I think the first part, I actually forgot the title. The second part is like the game or something.
The prize.
And then, sobrang haba nung Act 2. I kind of forgot na it's still Act 2. Tapos biglang nag-Act 3 na parang,
ay, may Act 3 pala.
Hindi pa pala tapos? It felt finished, actually, dun sa Act 2.
Yan. Actually, nakakatawa kasi, this movie had to do a lot. It had to show the Hunger Games ni Lucy Greybeard, and it had to show Snow turning bad or breaking bad. Yan. Ngayon, kung yung buong scene lang is parang yung Hunger Games lang, maganda pa rin siya eh. Kasi kung tutusin, yun naman yung parang calling card nung franchise itself eh. Pero it had to do something else. And I felt na the something else part, aside from the Hunger Games, medyo para siyang clunky yung dun sa dulo.
Hindi eh. I wish the filmmakers just chose what they wanted to tell. Yung story ba ng student pa lang si Coriolanus and then coming into this historical changing Hunger Games na babaguhin niya talaga yung nature nung Hunger Games moving forward, or the Hunger Games and Snow's journey to his heel turn.
Actually, pwede saan nilang ginawa. And ito sige, Lionsgate, this is advice to make more money, sana. You could have split this into 2 movies. Talaga.
Kasi it felt finished talaga after nung Hunger Games conclusion.
Parang pwede mo sanang gawin na, okay, the Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So, part 1, the Ballad of the Songbird. Yun pala pa the Ballad of the Songbird. Tapos part 2, the Ballad of the Snake.
Ayun. True.
Yun na.
So, dun sa titles, I was kinda looking for that connection. Diba kasi, title nga is The Ballad of Songbird and Snake. So, sana, I would have loved to know the backstory of the songbird. Kasi
yun din pa.
Siya yung nakalagay dun sa marquee eh. 'Di ba? Siya yung dapat naka-highlight dito. Sino ba si Songbird? Sino ba si Snake? So clearly, ako ang interpretation ko, Songbird was of course Lucy Gray. And the snake was Coriolanus Snow. So this is their story. So parang sana yung chapters told each of their stories. Tapos saka siya
pwede nga sana niya yung first part, yung first movie of this, dapat duology na lang sana siya. First part would focus on Lucy Gray. Yun. Siyempre, gagawin pa rin nating central character si Snow. Pero, mas more bigyan natin ng opportunity to be fleshed out si Lucy Gray.
Kasi nasa title siya.
Yun, sino ba yung Covey? Yung Covey meaning yung kanyang parang gypsy band of yung people niya. Yun.
Parang indigenous people na they're not originally from Panem.
Wala silang district na kahit ano, kasi palipat-lipat sila. Yun. Sana binigyan na ng chance to shine, tapos yun, mapili siya, and then mag-come into contact siya with Snow. Tapos, doon sa gitna nung first movie dapat sana, doon biglang ipakita na, okay, merong situation tong si Snow na sinusubukan niyang ayusin. Pwede nating i-ease into yung kanyang backstory din. Pero, hindi pa tayo magda-dive into further sa kanya until the second movie.
True.
Dapat, ang maganda dito, matapos tong first movie, nung nanalo na si Lucy Gray.
And na-cement na yung relationship nila, yung bond nila.
So, pwedeng mag-cliffhanger sana to dapat na, okay, nanalo si Lucy Gray.
Now what?
Now what? Pero, ang magiging last few scenes sigurado sana before the cliffhanger dapat, in a hypothetical two-parter, was yung sinabihan na siya ni Casca na, okay, disqualified ka kasi nag-cheat ka. Yung pati yung victory mo, hindi counted yung panalo niya. So, dun pwedeng maging, okay, what's
dun
happening?
Dun pwedeng matapos na assigned siya bigla dun sa, as a peacemaker.
As a peacemaker. Tapos, yung buong second movie, yung kanyang journey ni Snow naman as a peacemaker, looking for Lucy Gray.
At saka yung conflict niya din na magbabagong buhay na ba ako? Is this my chance to change, to redeem myself, and to redeem my family and my name, di ba?
Kaso, siguro masyado nilang siguro choice din to ni Suzanne Collins na parang just because it's one book. Mahirap din siguro baka magkaroon ng sige to, calling back again to the 2012s, 2013, 14s. Baka magkaroon ng Hobbit-itis.
Yung unnecessary split.
Oo, na yung sobrang liit na libro pag-aanuhin mo. Kaso kasi,
there's also these kinds of stories din naman na sobra na niyang bloated kapag nilagay mo siya sa isang movie.
Yun, oo. Kasi yung pangkasalanan ng Hobbit, dapat yung 2-parter lang din yun. Tapos ginawa nilang 3-parter. Hindi dapat talaga naging 3-parter yun. Yung The Hobbit. Ito, for all of the criticisms of yung unnecessarily extending a movie, series, yung one book, gagawin mong 3 or 2, ito sana dapat yung nag-benefit doon kasi the story could have been richer if we had gotten to know Lucy Gray more.
Yes.
And if we had gotten to know Coriolanus more, and then pagsamahin mo yung kanilang arcs into one devastating conclusion.
Well, true.
Yun lang yung yun lang yung pitfall nun. Kaso, of course, I mean, these are world-class screenwriters we're talking about. So I'm pretty sure that they have the ability to create a tapestry out of these ideas. Pero yun na nga I think they tried to appease the author's wishes, not just one movie for this one story. And given that circumstance, I'm happy with the result of their work. There could have been so much more to improve on, of course. It's not a perfect movie, but it's much better than I expected it to be. Yan. Ikaw, what do you think?
Final thoughts?
Oh, final thoughts, yeah.
My final thoughts, I really don't know what to expect now. Kasi parang tinapos na nila kaagad yung kwento ni Coriolanus Snow. I would have loved it if mas spaced out pa siya and mas fleshed out talaga yung struggle niya between his good side and bad side. And para mas may depth din yung mga betrayal and yung mga relationships na form niya. But yeah, it was a good addition to the entire saga. It elevates the already existing films. Mas na-recontextualize natin si Coriolanus Snow na kaya pala ganun siya.
At saka meron siyang iconic line doon sa unang series. Unang series of movies na inulit dito. Actually, yung it's the ones we love that hurt us the most.
True. So malalim pala yung hugot niya doon.
May hugot pala yun. Yes, 2012 again. Hugot times. Balik tayo.
Lagi kasing talagang bebe time. Yun talaga yung
Isn't that what YA is at its core?
True.
It's bebe time.
So in his core, Coriolanus Snow is just a lover boy.
Ay, syempre. I mean, kung nasa lagay niya, tapos, ito, di ba? So, ikaw yung si Lucy Gray nun singer din
What?
Kaya mga singer talaga
Wow.
Talagang
ayos
habulin talaga yan do anything for a singer so,
kung
ramdam ko yun si Coriolanus, I feel you, brother.
Kung nagsabi na lang si Coriolanus ng be, sorry na be, Kamali ako be.
Kung hinalikan na lang sana niya sa una nun. Pambira. Diba? Kuya, pakipot pa pambira.
Oo Yan, pride kasi.
Ay, nako.
Anyway.
By the way, just to inform you, Lionsgate Films nor its local distributor neither paid nor sought out this review you just heard. They are hearing our feedback about the movie the same time you are. Okay.
Right. So that's it for The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds, and Snakes. If you've seen the film, please share with us what you thought about it. Comment it on our social media. Again, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and X or Twitter at Cinegeeks Pod. Also, set your players to automatically download our new episodes so you don't miss out on our fun Cinegeek conversations.
And please leave us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you enjoyed this episode. And also, please leave us a thumbs up on YouTube as well if, again, you enjoyed this episode.
Oh, and by the way, please expect our new episodes on our Cinegeeks Podcast to be uploaded every Mondays.
So this is gonna be our last Friday upload in the near future.
Yeah.
Yan, lilipat natin yung ating upload sked to every Mondays.
Yes, because it's gonna be the holiday season na rin soon.
And naisip din namin na parang we think that you Cinegeeks would much prefer it siguro. If, let's say, in your busy schedule, the only time, I guess, you'd be able to watch a movie is, let's say, weekend. Sabado, Linggo.
Yeah.
Ganun. Why not? We accompany you through the start of your work week. Diba?
Yeah.
Or your start of your school week if you're still in school, dissecting the movies that you just watched the weekend before.
Yes, that's right. For my co-host Troy, this has been Angela. Thank you for listening to the Cinegeeks Podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide.